So first of all, I'd like to congratulate the Mercury for advancing to the finals. And I want to be clear, this conversation is not about winning or losing. It's about something much bigger. The real threat to our league isn't money, it isn't ratings, or even missed calls, or even physical play. It's the lack of accountability from the league office. Since I've been in the league, you've heard the constant concerns about officiating, and it has now reached levels of inconsistency that plague our sport and undermine the integrity in which it operates. Whether the league cares about the health of the players is one thing, but to also not care about the product we put on the floor is truly self-sabotage. Year after year, the only thing that remains consistent is the lack of accountability from our leaders. Sorry, I had to walk here in my boot. I'm kind of out of breath. The league has a buzzword that they've rolled out as talking points for the CBA as to why they can't pay the players what we're worth. That word is sustainability. But what's truly unsustainable is keeping a good product on the floor while allowing officials to lose control of games. Fans see it every night. Coaches, both winning and losing, point it out every night in pregame and postgame media. Yet leadership just issues fines and looks the other way. They ignore the issues that everyone inside the game is begging to be fixed. That is negligence. At Unrivaled this past February, I sat across from Kathy and asked how she planned to address the officiating issues in our league. Her response was, well, only the losers complain about the refs. I also asked how she planned to fix the fact that players like Caitlin, Angel, and Paige, who are clearly driving massive revenue for the league, are making so little for their first 4 years. Her response was, Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. And in that same conversation, she told me players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them. That's a mentality driving our league from the top. We go to battle every day to protect a shield that doesn't value us. The league believes it succeeds despite its players, not because.
Thanks for tuning into the Urban Scope podcast. And as you can tell from that clip that I just played, that Nafisha Collier just laid it on the line, and just everything that she was thinking of, she put it out in that interview. Now, I don't have more context of when she read the letter, when she planned to give the letter out. And I kind of talk about that in a little bit, about the timing of the letter, especially with the reporter kind of asking her a question about would she had still put the statement out if they went to the finals. But I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I feel like this interview was needed, or the statements that she made was needed, especially for the growth of the league and to fix some of the issues that they have. And it's a part of growth. You know, you're not going to have it right. No league is perfect. No one is perfect. Nothing is perfect on this earth. So there's a lot of things that need to be fixed and addressed. And if no one says anything, it'll never get fixed. And then she even addressed that she's expecting a fine because she addressed how free speech isn't free, which is totally true. And everything comes with a price. So she's expecting a fine from the league, as usually they do, especially when you critique the officiating and the referees. For some reason, they get fined for criticizing the referees, even though every job should be criticized or should be critiqued so they can make improvements. If you don't, how do you expect to make the improvements? And I think all leagues should make that adjustment in some way so the players don't get fined on that regards. Because us as the fans, we see what the players see sometimes, especially on the officiating side. So we're going to complain anyway. So it's going to still be out there, but those players have bigger names and they're going to be the ones to get the fines. But nevertheless, I think Fee had a lot of valid points when she came to the league, and the lack of accountability from the leadership, and also from just everything that is the league when you think about it. So the popular statement, or the popular phrase, "a fish rots from the head down," is definitely applicable in this situation, because the commissioner of their league, Kathy Engelberg, I think is her name. She is not running the league like she wants the league to be around and to get better. she's running the league like she wants the league just to make revenue and not necessarily improve the product. And this is what Fee was talking about. And I didn't like how the reporter asked her if she was in the championship or if she was heading to the championship, would she have these same concerns? She would obviously have these same concerns because it's only when you get mad or when you tell the truth, because there has to come to a boiling point when you get upset enough to be able to tell the truth. Because even if things are going well, you're still going to have opinions on things. You might not give that opinion because you haven't reached your boiling point yet. And a lot of times we keep things bubbled in, and when they spill over, we just let everything out like Fee did. And she didn't just mention herself, because if she just mentioned herself, it'll seem selfish and it will seem like she had some kind of agenda. But she mentioned big stars like Asia Wilson, like Caitlin Clark, like um, um, Angel, Angel Reese, and stars like that, making all the money for the league and bringing this money to the league and bringing new eyeballs to the league, bringing new dollars and revenues to the league, but they're not receiving any compensation really for it. Asia Wilson is probably one of the paid players, but she's a veteran. She's won 2 rings. She's in the in WNBA finals this year. So she's done a lot of things to get to that money. But on the other hand, stars like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, who are in their second years, are still making around $70,000, $80,000 a year. And they're making the league millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. So it's just not adding up. So she was talking about that in the midst of talking about how the officiating is not correct. And I've seen something online where it said that the officials get trained in the G League or somewhere like that, and it's just not right. I don't know if the NBA can intervene in any way to assist the WNBA until they can get where they need to. I'm pretty sure the players wouldn't mind doing that, but I think Adam Silver would need to somehow intervene if he could, because he's known as one of the best commissioners in major sports. And, NFL, Roger Goodell, I'm not a huge fan of him, but he does a decent job, I guess. Um, I know he made mistakes over the past, um, but NBA has one of the best commissioners ever that we've ever seen, next to like David Stern or something like that. But I think they need some help because their commissioner now is just Kathy is just running it in the ground. And in my opinion, she's running the league like Jerry Jones for the Cowboys. She's only concerned about the revenue and not really the product. So the fans get whatever product she gives them, and then she feels like they're going to show up and she's going to get that money. But if she runs it to the ground bad enough, those people will leave, especially with players like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese being injured this year. Most people are not going to want to watch that product if the marquee players aren't there. So you need to make a better product and make the league better for players so they can flourish, and then you can have more parity in the league. The league doesn't really have a lot of parity right now from the casual WNBA fan standpoint. Fans like me will watch no matter who's playing because we know so many different great players, but fans that's watching the game that don't necessarily know the game are going just to root on people that they've seen on commercials and things like that. So they definitely need to fix that parity issue in the league. And another thing that Fee said that Kathy told her was when she said those players wouldn't get paid adequately, that the WNBA gave them the platform so they can make that money, which is so incorrect in so many ways. She has a point to a little bit, but I think these players could have made more money having a YouTube channel playing each other on basketball, or I think they could have made more money with the big three with Ice Cube, because some of these players are so marquee that they have a fan base that's going to watch them no matter where they go. And Caitlin Clark was even offered $5 million from Ice Cube, and I think if she took that money, she would have made more money than she would in the WNBA in probably 10 years. And also, she would have still had her Nike endorsements. She would have still had Gatorade and State Farm and all these other endorsements. So the WNBA hasn't really put anyone on in terms of uh, making more money or having the ability to make more money. I think it's just gave them another place so they can play and get their passion out for the game. Because these players would have still made their money in whatever else they did playing basketball. So I think that was another falsehood that she spread. If these things are true, that Kathy spread around, because we obviously seen the complaints after the last semi-final series in WNBA of the officiating, how inconsistent it was. I think the referees are trying to do their best, but it's very inconsistent, and that has to be fixed, just for the sake of the game. Um, but yeah, I think it's just getting out of hand as far as the league is going. And Kathy came off, and if the comments that she made to Fee are true, Kathy came off very condescending. She came off very arrogant. She came off very aloof. She was very Aaron Rodgers esque when it comes to her views of the league and how she views the league, because the league is nothing without these players. The league has its history of only going back to 1997, so I'm older than the league. The league has no cachet in the game, so to speak. It's the players who have the cachet. It's the Caitlin Clarks. It's the Asia Wilsons. It's Nafisha Colliers. It's the Angel Reeses. All these players make the league. The league doesn't have the same brand as an NBA, or definitely not the NFL or the MLB. So the league has a long way to go. And as a person who loves the league and loves the game and really want the players to make more money and to grow, I think Kathy must go. So hopefully they find a new commissioner, because this commissioner seems very callous, and she seems very insensitive to the players, as she's making her money. So she doesn't really care if the players and the product is any better or improving or making more money. So it seems very Jerry Jones esque to the Cowboys, and it seems very um, destructive and very toxic that Kathy comes off to be. So tell me what you think your thoughts are about the WNBA and how they can fix the problems in their league, especially your thoughts on Commissioner Kathy, and how condescending she sounds and how off-putting she is. So thanks for tuning into the Urban Scope podcast, and until next time, I'll see you next time.